Do you know that when I first sat down with the Marvel folk, they said, this is the most difficult property we have. We have so many ways to fail doing this. I thought, well, that's great, a good start. And I said, well, I think I feel the same way as I look at it from the outside, which is that, when I looked this up, it said, what's the genre? It said action, sci-fi, fantasy, adventure, drama. I said, that's a lot of categories, isn't it? I said, I think it has got all of those things in the comics. Biggest challenge is tone. Well, how do you get the tone of this thing right? So I arrived and there'd been a script that had been developed over probably 5 years, I think. The latest version of which was very good, was all set on Viking Earth and in some places in the world of the gods. And I said, I feel this is too dour for me. It's too dull visually, I think, and it's too subject to cliche. We must be on contemporary Earth. I said, so if you want to know what I have to offer, that's a starting point. I don't want to be involved with it if you don't start there. You have to literally start the film on contemporary Earth. You have to tune people in to their humour. We've got to look like the people in the cinema before we can take them up to Asgard. And then on Asgard, second thing I can offer you is complete belief that the casting of this film is make or break. There's no question. If we don't get Thor right, it's over. It's finished. If that piece of casting isn't right, it's over. Mm-hmm. And then around him, Odin has to be brilliant. Loki has to be brilliant. And if you want credibility in the science on Earth, we need a brilliant actress to play Jane Foster, not as a piece of love interest fluff, but as someone who, when she says magic is just science we don't understand yet, you're prepared to give her the benefit of the doubt. So, all easily said, all hard to do, but contemporary Earth and humour were the building blocks of how do you bring all those disparate elements together. Casting and performance were the next.
Mm-hmm. I have to say,
the truth is that I go and see comic book movies. I go to the movies a lot, and I love the big picture experience. I love going on the first weekend. I like going on a Saturday night, and my wife does. And we both like being with a big crowd of people, big sound, big image. I enjoy it. I enjoy it for the very profound difference from watching it at home, however good your home system is. So I love that. I love that group experience with films. And I think it's phenomenally difficult to make a really good popular film, and frankly I've never managed quite to do it. I've managed to make films that I like a lot, and that I think are populist in their intent, but this was a story and a subject matter and inside this Marvel universe where you thought, I hope that I can apply all the experience and all the things that I've learned from making films, all of the things I've noticed from watching films, in a story where I really care about this fella, and where this hero's journey of an entitled, privileged guy who has to go through humiliation and loss and sacrifice before maybe understanding who he is and what's important in his life, and maybe has a chance to regain some real sense of that, is an illuminating human thing. Again, sits at the center of an adventure that must entertain. But I thought we can have a superhero movie where, aside from him, being fantastically impressive physically, which Chris Hemsworth is, and getting great action, moments out of him, that actually there's a real acting part there. There's a real change in the character from beginning to end. I wanted to do that, and I think I've got to about the stage where I think I can have a go at this, and I was very glad to be given the chance.
So how movie?
I think what will surprise people, it's my experience of running it so far, is humour. They're very surprised at how funny it is. They're very surprised that, frankly, all the disparate elements work, and you can watch it just as a movie. I hope if you're a comic book fan or a Thor fan, it touches on lots of detail. But for the general viewer, particularly to their great surprise, women, particularly to their surprise to some extent, younger people, kids. And we've managed, it seems, to be doing that without alienating the hardcore, male audience that would be maybe primarily interested in this. And that is because of the power of the story. The story touches in all those kinds of ways. So I think we've ridden on the coattails of a myth that Stan Lee was clever enough to jump onto in 1962, and that the Marvel film universe is smart enough, however difficult it is, and it is difficult, to try and wrestle to the ground in 2011. I hope we've succeeded.